What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world, and broadcasting live. Excuse me, that was a good dinner, by the way, at on July 19th in Toronto. We're Greater Toronto. Absolutely gorgeous last 2 days in Toronto. Around 26 degrees Celsius, which is around 75, 80 degrees. No humidity, little bit of a breeze. It has been lovely. But we're supposed to get some more heat and humidity coming up next week, but that's okay. It's summertime and the weather is hot. I was sung by, was it Mungo Jerry? I think it was. I have to get the two musical experts to confirm that. Speaking about musical experts, but experts in many things, they are here. Aisha K. Staggers, Laura LaLa Key. It's their time. It's Saturday. By the way, welcome back, Aisha. We did not have you last week.
I know I had a little thing.
Little.
Well, we're trying to figure out if I had a seizure in my sleep.
Oh gosh.
Because my back was hurting all week, like it had been convulsing. So I don't know. We don't know, but I do see my neurologist this week.
Okay. What is going on in the unmuted Lala?
Well, there's been a lot going on this week. So it's been, I don't want to start the show off this way, but I'm always truthful with everybody when I come in. You guys know I'm very honest about everything. And it's been officially 2.5 years since I have lost my sisters, and this girl is still walking free. And it's been a really rough week for me dealing with this. Just a lot of walking around and crying and not knowing that you're crying.
Wow. I hear you. Where does the proceedings lie at the present time?
She continues to push it off. So our next supposed date is in September.
Wow. Crazy.
It's not hard. It's not easy losing a sibling.
Absolutely not. But
it's even more tragic when it's something that you don't expect, and there was a crime committed and you don't get justice for that crime. Like when my brother died in 2021, the most difficult part was sitting and waiting for them to pull the plug. Sitting and waiting for that. But there's nobody to blame. You know, you get a cancer diagnosis, you get 3 months, and then that's it. It's done, it's over. But when somebody takes away the people that you love, and you have to fight for the justice for them, it can take a lot out of you, and it compounds the pain.
Yeah.
I hear you. And what's even a bigger pain is the lack of justice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I actually watched my cousin go through something similar, Lala.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I had another friend who lost a friend as well this year due to a drunk driver, and it was in a different city. I mean, it was in a different state, Ohio, and that person is behind bars and serving time, all within 6 months. It's been 2.5 years for Mississippi, specifically Jackson, Mississippi.
Well, it also took Mississippi how long after Brown to integrate their schools? 20 years?
Attorney General didn't want this case. It's ridiculous. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Well, let's come in and make a U-turn in the conversation. Give me one win that you've had recently. Does that have to be
my win? I got a new oven. I got a new oven. I can bake.
Whoa!
I can bake.
Okay.
Yeah, I am going to the University of Hartford for an advanced degree. That's my thing.
Okay, hold on. Aisha, you
Mhm.
maybe have to put your tagline, lifelong learner. You don't stop going to school.
Well, I've worked in communications for 25 years, but
Yeah,
things have really changed.
sure. Point taken.
So, right. So, you know, you have to go back. This part is the step toward, PhD, and then that's that.
So is that the end goal, or is it
Yeah.
something else?
No, that's the end goal.
Wow.
But
So
I also got into law school too, and
so so one day we're gonna have two doctors in the house.
well, I
So
also
we
got
gotta,
into
we gotta get Lala in a PhD or something.
I also got into law school too, and I haven't. I decided on University of Hartford, but I haven't thought about that other part yet because it was enough to make this one decision.
Wow.
That's
It was.
amazing. That's
That,
quite
that
the accomplishment.
yeah, it is. That is huge. And hello to our Substack family. Hope you're doing fine. Broadcasting and not beginning to post it there. And thank you, Lala, for checking one of the posts out on Substack. I saw you respond to it. So you see, I'm making some moves on Substack, just like you. And by the way, Lala, how is your journey, your enlightened journey that you're sharing on social media platforms going?
So far, it's slow. It's slow because it's a new thing. So I'm starting from the beginning, but I've been using a lot of the tools that you have shared with me as well, and I'll be digging into that. The series that I'm doing called Finding Your Soul's Voice, I'm getting a lot of traction with people now starting to come and say, hey, what is this? So, and the thing about video is it's always there. So you can start wherever you are. I could be on week 8 and you could start with week 1 and you'd still get the same benefit from it. So I am learning a lot of things. I'm learning to also just be in the moment. That's really hard for me because I'm always one who wants to push through and just want to get to the next thing so quickly. And I don't even celebrate the wins. I get there and I go, yay, I made it. Let's go. I know my husband points it out to me all the time, but I am trying to do better.
Okay, let's hold on. Do I have to come to Portugal to meet this guy? It
Yeah.
sounds like it's gonna have to be the only way I'm gonna meet him is I have to come over there.
Well, we're back and forth, you know that. So you can always come to Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. Next subject. So, well, actually, it's interesting enough. My mother has a condo down there that she bought many years ago, and she wants to sell it. And the thing is, if she sells it right now, she's gonna take so much of a loss because so many people have left.
Yes,
There's
they're
a
not
flood.
staying.
Yeah, like a lot of the snowbirds gone. They've gone back to Canada. No, they want no more. Yeah. So she's saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So
Yep.
it's
It's shifting. It's now becoming a buyer's market. It's been a seller's market for so long. It's now becoming a buyer's market. I know for sure Denver has become a buyer's market. Things have definitely slowed down in California and Florida. I am not getting much business at all because people are literally leaving and are taking those losses because of everything that's going on down there.
Lala, are there any hot markets in the U.S.?
There's always going to be a hot market for places like Jersey Shore, New York City. Those are in LA actually still is a hot market, but things are shifting. But people are also getting very tired of big cities because with big cities come big money. So a lot of people are actually looking at places like, believe it or not, Montana, Utah, things of those places. Me personally, I don't know why anybody would ever want to live in Florida or Texas for that matter, or Mississippi, any of those southern states. But Alabama is actually getting a lot of people moving there now because of the amount of money and the cost of living. So they're taking what they've earned and being able to live a little longer in those states.
Okay, before we go to break, I'll ask you both an interesting question. If I say, and I underline the word 5 times, if you would like to live anywhere in the United States, are there any places you'd live right now?
Portugal.
United States. I said United States, not around the world.
United States. No. I have nowhere in the United States that I want to be. I thought about that long and hard. There's not one place that I want to be. Not in the United States.
Probably Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands.
Good one.
Because they're subject to some of the same federal laws, but not all, because they don't have representation the same way.
So maybe we'll get LaLa or
a territory.
Either get LaLa or our good friend Ray McMillan to look into what are the housing prospects and living conditions down there, because and that's a plug there, because a little while back they were both on the Morning Vibe show that we do, and they rocked the house. I'm begging for them to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's gonna happen, because Ray and I really do click, and we are actually working on some other things. So I mean, you guys hear it here. We're looking at other countries for people to explore. I got you in Portugal, and I know a lot about Spain and Italy as well. We are actually looking at Ghana and Guyana.
Yes, and Ray is an expert, has expertise Canada, US, and the Caribbean, and going to other parts of the world. Producer Matt, before we go to break, says not even more liberal states like New York or California.
I mean, I live an hour and 20 minutes from New York right now.
I still have a place in California. I sold there for 15 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hey, Jerry, I love you.
But you're right, because here's the thing. New York is incredibly expensive. And how do I know that? Because Connecticut is incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. And so.
Yeah, because it's a symptom of that. People try to go to you, and now it's made it unaffordable there.
Right. But I would stay here compared to anywhere else, because I think we might be the only state that has our whole federal delegation is Democrat. And we have super majorities in the House and State Senate.
Okay. All right.
And all through the elected offices, from governor to treasurer, AG, all that.
Well, maybe we'll. Aisha, any thought of any remote of you coming north of the border still?
Yes, I have. It's been on my mind.
Okay.
It's been on my mind.
Okay. All right. I just asked curiosity wise. I know you had brought it up remotely a little while back. Okay. Yep. No problem. All right. We're going to go to a break, since we've done our real estate portion of the show today with the fan queen, the curly fan queen. And we'll be back in 30 seconds, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. So we'll see you in 30 seconds.
Good morning, Dr. Vibe, the vibe of the city.
What is up, everybody? If you felt you were innocent, why are you offering her $10 million?
There are certain influencers that create a bigger impact than others. And the ones that create the biggest impact are the ones that are not charging you any money.
You're not considering now somebody has to pick up what you did not do.
This has been an incredible conversation. There you go, the Morning Vibe, Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with myself and my co-host, Ryan O'Neal Knight.
That's a good show, Dr. Vibe. I love your other shows. I really do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, but you're part of the family too. So when you say you like other shows, you're included in all that. You're all part about that.
And we're honored to be a part of your network and a part of your family.
Yeah.
LaLa, why you touching me like that, girlfriend, with a fan, both of you like that? No, I thank you both. And I do it because I want all of us to move forward, right? We're all moving forward in what we're doing. So it's really, really important that, okay, you can go, Aisha. We'll see you back. You go. Aisha's going to be right back. Aisha's going to be right back. All right. She's got to go to the restroom. So while we're doing that, let's go. Let's do some housework. All right. Let's do the housework. So Girlfriends Chat with Aisha LaLa and Jill Jones at Patreon. Used to be on Patreon. Now it's full-fledged on Substack. You wonder, you think we're want to push stuff to Substack? You're thinking.
It's a lovely platform. It's a lovely platform. I'm learning it, but it's a lovely platform.
It absolutely is. And we're, being able to broadcast live on there. And also now all the content I put there is like brand new content. Even if it's a little bit dated, it's as long as it's evergreen content, it's there. It's there. So check it also at Substack. Primetime Saturday store. There is the link there. Join the Discord group. Please email me at dr.vibe@thedrbeshow.com, or you click on the link. She made it back. Amen, amen. Hello, 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 hello. And then also subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack, because I am posting consistently on there now to advertise your business, product, or service.
Lala and I are wearing matching shirts. Lala, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're wearing matching shirts.
Are we?
Hold on. No. Oh, no, you're not. They got different things written on it.
But
but we're both wearing prints.
Oh.
And we didn't plan it. She's wearing purple rain.
We didn't plan it.
Okay, all right. But they're not onesies, right?
No onesie, but I have the cutest onesie now. It's a summer onesie. It's yellow and it's got bees all over it.
And I had that same shirt. But you know what's so funny, Dr. Vibe? I had the same shirt Lala has on, and I almost put it on, but I chose this one instead.
Look.
I love it.
So I guess, Lala, the only person you sting is Will, right?
Yes.
I just wanted to check.
Yes. On that one, yes.
The way you said that, yes. Okay, composure back. All right, now let's to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms I'm on. Email me dr.vibe@thedrbeshow.com. Cannot forget Indie Soup TV with our good friend Dr. Tachi, who you heard in the promo. Her voice, very distinguished Dr. Tachi voice. There is the YouTube channel there. Again, remember, almost 28,000 subscribers and about 16, 17 months of operation. This is some of the content you'll see on there. And I'm also a member of the board. And remember, subscriber-wise, Dr. Tachi's Indie Soup Media is in the top 10% of all YouTube channels around the world, globally. All right, and before that, some people are saying hello. Enlightened Being says, Lala, that is so tough. So she's expressing condolences. Also, she said, I know who she is. I'm doing great, Dr. Vibe, Enlightened Being says. Jerry Lewis Crawley says, hey, Lala, Louisville.
I have to stop you on that one because you guys, this is my very first singing partner.
No.
Middle school. Yes, Jerry and I are very good friends. We went to middle school and high school together. We're still friends. But Jerry was my very first singing partner, and we actually did talent shows together. We did the Kentucky State Fair together. And one of the things that we did, we sang Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway.
What song?
Where's the Love?
Oh.
And tonight, of course, we were in middle school, I celebrate my love for you.
Oh.
Jerry has such a rich, beautiful voice. And I like to call him Mr. Louisville because he is a big sunshine. He always checks in with everybody. And Jerry, I love you.
That is so nice, man. That is cool. All right. And Lala says back, I love you so much, Jerry. And then fan number 1, Jen Meyer says, hello, everyone. So Jen, of course, Jen watches now on Lala's Facebook page. She deserted my Facebook page. That's okay. Okay, that's okay. I can live with that. That's okay. I wouldn't say you're a traitor. Go to her.
But you said it anyway.
I just having fun, Jen. I'm just playing. We're just having fun here. All right. Aisha, you weren't here last week. Kudos to Lala. Did an amazing job last week.
We did a lot last week.
Oh, wow. Jen Meyer says, Dr. Vibe, heart emoji. All right, no worry. Jen, it's all good. Jen, you are 100% in my books. So I thought we could start off a little bit. It isn't stopping. And this is part of a whole bigger issue. MAGA influencers behind 47 after days of pressuring administration for more on Epstein. So we're going to let Aisha go first because you haven't had any take on the Epstein thing. So we're going to let you go first.
Okay. So first of all, unforced error. Okay. They made this mess themselves. All they had to do is just release the information. Instead, they gaslit their own base. Now, on this particular topic about them lining up, it's really not the influencers so much because that's really the bro culture. It's the regular people lining up behind him, the regular Republicans. But let me tell you something. I watched all of this happen, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Democrats do not need to get involved. When your opposition is punching themselves in the face, you move out the way and let them keep punching. If they keep jumping, I knew he was going to do this, but they kept jumping in, piling on, introducing things in Congress. And what was the thing that he did the moment that they did that? Oh, it was a Democratic hoax set up by Obama. And it's like they gave him the opening by jumping in on this. What they should have done was backed away, let MAGA implode on its own and tear themselves apart and said, hey, we're focused on trying to make costs cheaper for parents. School's about to happen in 6 weeks and costs are about to skyrocket. We're focused on this part. They're focused on chaos. And the thing is that if Democrats step out of it, this thing, it's going to go for a while, but it would go a whole lot longer if Dems just stayed out of it. Because guess what?
They need to be quiet.
Guess what? That's a home situation. They don't need strangers coming up in their house and telling them how to handle their big daddy. Okay? Let them do it. It's like, they are a cage of leopards. Let them fight it out.
Oh, and they fighting it out.
Yes, they are. Now,
and I'm loving every minute of it. What do we do, Aisha? Let them do it.
Yeah. And here's the other part too on this. So they're lining up behind him, not about the release of the paperwork. It's about this Wall Street Journal article. And then Trump offers to sue Wall Street Journal. Well, here's the thing. Wall Street Journal knew they were going to sue. He was going to sue them. And they published it anyway, which means every I is dotted, every T crossed, everything verified. They've seen the evidence. And you know who else has that evidence? Ghislaine Maxwell. Because here's the thing that they don't want. And if Democrats want to do this, this is what they can do. Can we get Ghislaine Maxwell to come to a congressional hearing so we can ask her some questions? That would be the only thing I would support them doing, because MAGA would have to go, the Republicans, MAGA would have to go along with that, because that's the kind of thing that their base wants, and they're really afraid about the next election. I would go that route, because she knows all this stuff, and she had better be watching her back now that this is something, because there might be 3 minutes of tape missing on her cell too. And
I think that's going to happen. I don't like to put that on anybody, but this is the level that we're at, Aisha. Mm-hmm. I mean, people are disappearing. The lady who came out and spoke about how she was very all of these, and she came out and actually said, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. The lady came out who said she worked for Epstein, and the people over in the BBC people came over, Prince Andrew. She talked about it all. And then she actually said, and she did a pre-tape that said, if you are hearing this, I'm dead. And they killed him.
Right. And here's the other part too. Let MAGA work it out, because they're going to get Steve Bannon to release that 15 hours of interview that he did with Jeffrey Epstein before he died. Steve, see, this is how there's something. If Steve Bannon is calling for this, and he has those 15 hours of tape, he knows what's in those files, and he's willing to sacrifice Trump for that. And because people can't forget that these people, these influencers, this is their money. They built their platforms on these conspiracy theories, and they don't want to have to tell their audience they're not true, that you've been had. And people were calling into, who was it, Glenn Beck's show, saying that they felt
Yes.
betrayed by Trump.
Yes.
That he's lying to them. And this is why there's a comedian, Josh Johnson, who does The Daily Show. And I sent the video to Lala and Jill, but he talks in the very beginning about how he had this friend who was a latchkey kid, and he used to come home and make his own food and stuff, and then he spilled something on the carpet. And instead of thinking like most of us would to go clean the carpet out, he comes up with the idea to make a bigger mess so that the parents will be distracted by the bigger mess and not the mess that he made. So he throws a rock out the window, but realizes he threw the rock out the window from inside. So he goes and gets the rock, picks up the glass, and puts it on the floor near the stain. And his parents are like, "What happened with the carpet, the stain?" He's like, "Well, look at that mess over there. That's bigger. We should be more concerned about that." And the point is that he wasn't thinking ahead of the questions his parents could ask, so he got caught. And this is where Trump is what the comedian says. And this is what Trump is doing. He look at all the things he's thrown out this week. Taking Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship, which he legally cannot do. What was the other thing? Oh, we're going to release the grand jury testimony. Well, now everybody's going to have unless they're going to be heavily redacted, and that's going to make MAGA flip. First of all, that he's hiding something, but they will have to redact it because it has all the victim information in there. And Trump is so willing to sacrifice their privacy and their pain if it means that he does not get held accountable for his mess. And that is going to fail because grand jury testimonies have a real, they like to keep these things under wraps because sometimes people aren't charged, and sometimes people are witnesses who don't testify publicly. But he knows that what's going to happen is the court's going to say no. He already knows that his base is upset with judges, and so he's going to say, "See, it's the radical left judges."
Well, he's already doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really interesting is, here's how I feel about the list. I don't give a shit no more. I'm sorry. I really don't. You know why? Because they've had it long enough to scrub. They've had it long enough to add names to it. That's why he keeps throwing Obama and Biden name out. That's what he's going to do. He's going to add names, and he's going to do everything that he can to scrub it off. But here's the thing. You step on somebody's toes, they're going to yell. And you're stepping on the wrong toes. I mean, people like Nick Fuentes is coming out talking about you fat, you ugly, you stupid, and we've been had. Let me tell you something. These people are starting to wake up, but Aisha and I knew that this was going to happen. And this is why we
called them dumb.
He called them dumb and said, I don't need your support.
Right. And see, that was enough to tick people off. So I promise you, the next time he tries to sell something, it won't come up. It won't come out. But that's also going to screw him up for next year, because those people who animately voted for him in 2024 are not going to show up. They are going to stay home. He's going to have a Congress that he cannot work with because it will be all Dems. And this is the conundrum. And I think that this is like one of those gifts that you didn't know was going to happen and was a gift that you needed. I honestly think that where we are with this story is that, yes, Jeffrey Epstein did this and whatever. You know what? In our community, we have our own Jeffrey Epstein. His name is R. Kelly. And you see how that, we've seen how that goes down. Diehard fans still support that man.
Makes me
sick. It's
going to
be the same with Trump. The diehards are going to still roll with him. But
I already told you, they're always going to die on that cross for him.
Exactly.
That's what cults do. And when he turns around and tells them to drink Kool-Aid, they will do it.
Right. But here are the things that he's been doing to take the pressure off. It's making a bigger mess.
Well, yeah, look at him.
That thing, though, when he called them stupid, all the news media were talking about how he got ratioed on his own platform. He got more
Baby,
negative
those were
comments
some
than positive
nasty comments. Those were
on
some
his
nasty
own
comments.
platform. And so this is like when, this is kind of like when the people from Jonestown, the ones who started in the end, who started to leave or tried to leave, this is what it is. It's like there's that. I've watched so many documentaries on this, and people talk about the great complexities that they had trying to leave. They like the fact, the communal aspect of it, but Jim Jones was a horrific human, and there were those kinds of things. And so people, I watched this man who's on Nicole Wallace's show earlier this week talking about how he is former MAGA and how he came out. He wrote a book called Leading MAGA, and he has an organization called Leading MAGA where he helps people to do that. And one of the things he said is that when people call it a cult, it makes them cling on even tighter, because these are their beliefs. These people sincerely believe that there are pizza parlors in DC that in their basements, there are these cabals of child predators molesting kids. Now, let's be very clear. I am sure that is happening somewhere, not necessarily in DC, but we know that children are being trafficked. We know that young women are being trafficked. How do we know this? Because Jeffrey Epstein did it. Diddy was on trial for it. And I believe that's one of the charges he was convicted of. So that kind of thing it happens, but their idea that it's only the powerful elites, it's this, it's that, let's be honest. These people want this list because they believe Bill Clinton's going to be on it. They believe Joe Biden's going to be on it. They believe Hunter Biden's going to be on it. They believe the Obamas are going to be on it. They believe that there's Kennedys in it. That is what they're hoping. And let's be very clear as to why Trump isn't releasing it. Because if that was true, day one, he would have put it out there.
Exactly. Because we know his MO. We know his MO.
Yeah, but what's true is he's in it.
And he knows it in such a big way.
He knows how he's in it. So if you read the Wall Street Journal article, which they talked to several different people who work in the FBI who saw this and said Trump is on the flight logs. They don't know if anything happened when he got to the island, but he's on the flight logs, what is it, like 9 times?
Aisha, we have so many testimonies of these young girls who came forward that have been suppressed. So I don't have a question on what he's done on that island. I believe the women wholeheartedly. They were young girls. What reason do they have to lie? This is even before he got into the White House.
Yeah.
We're not talking about people who are coming forward now. Like, I always kind of question people who come forward now. Like, what are you saying stuff for now? But these ladies actually came out way before any of this.
They did. And see, this is the crazy part to me, is that the same people who believe that there are all these cabals of Democrats molesting children in the basements of pizza parlors can't make the leap from Jeffrey Epstein being a predator and Donald Trump being his friend as a predator as bad. They just want to, because honestly, they're just looking for Democrats and wealthy people on the list. That's what it is. That they want that part to be proven true. They don't care about these girls. They don't care about the women, because they're willing to sacrifice their privacy to get that red meat that they want.
Well, let's not forget, Epstein got a deal. He fled the country, which is absolutely unheard of. And while he was out of the country in Israel, he negotiated the deal of his terms, right? And Alexander Acosta is the one who actually negotiated that deal. What did Trump do? He appointed Acosta to a very high position. So the deal that Epstein got was absolutely disgusting. He was able to leave on the weekends. He only had to do certain things. So
because he was Trump's friend.
He was Trump's friend. And the thing is, I can never say her name. How do you say her? I want to keep calling her
Ghislaine.
Giselle, but it's not Giselle. Ghislaine. She's no better, baby. And you know what? I'm telling you what, she's actually worse if you ask me, because she is a woman herself and what she did. So if she don't believe that she's in danger,
but she was
got
also sexually abusing the women too, because in one of the testimonies,
exactly,
it was her and Epstein molesting the girl.
Exactly.
And that's the girl that committed suicide.
Yes.
And you know, the other part too with MAGA is they can't, the influencers, the podcasters, they're the people that they that subscribe to their content, that pay them, don't want to hear anything other than Trump showing everything. They're saying even just the grand jury thing doesn't go far enough. No. So you're gonna keep seeing, because see, Laura Loomer is playing funny.
Of course,
right? She's playing funny because on one hand she's like, oh, this and that is bad. You know, we need these. Let's appoint a special counsel. But I seem to remember when that crooked chick 2 years ago was mad that a special counsel was appointed to look into Trump stealing documents. This inconsistent, excuse my language, was mad about that, but wants a special counsel here. And then I wrote a really scathing article this week, so I called her many things.
And rightfully so.
I called her many things. And I also referred to the women of the Klan as bake sales. So this woman, I have a hard time even calling her that, because I can't believe we're the same gender, and she's just a horrible, horrible person. But that thing, she's upset about that, but she can't go too far. And the thing that we should all be upset about is she is running interference. She has a lot of control over all of our lives, and we should be really upset that
who is she?
Laura Loomer.
Okay.
That this person who just showed up on the web after she got her Kardashian-like glam down, because it wasn't a glam up, and that nose shaved off. Now she's like, oh, this and that. But the horrific thing about it is that she's the one who lights the fire, and people are listening to her. And she on one hand, she's all mad about the files, but on the other hand, oh yeah, I don't believe what the Wall Street Journal said about that drawing. He doesn't talk like that. Girl, you aren't even old enough to remember what Trump sounded like in the 90s. What are you talking about? That's exactly how he talked in the 90s. She wasn't even here.
But you know what's really
all the influencers saying that he doesn't sound like that, they weren't even born.
No, they weren't. But here's what's even funnier to me. Vance is coming out talking about we need to get these files out. I was like, oh, okay. So now you're starting to line up. Yeah, baby, you trying to see that prize right there, because you know you're going in direct conflict with your number one boss. Because anything that you come out with talking about you want things released, you know he's fighting you on that.
Yeah, but you know why he did that? JD Vance at some point is going to 25th Donald Trump.
Yes.
Because guess what? That's the part in Project 2025 that most people glossed over, was that if they could not, that they had to find a suitable vice president that, given Trump's age or what have you, they have their person there to continue Project 2025. So yeah, look, you know what else came out this week? He's not doing that. And then his ankles were swollen. JD Vance is just, that's why he's been quiet, apart from being an idiot. But he's just making his list. Look, he's like Santa Claus, making his list, checking it twice,
and ready for those because we both know he's not smart enough to do any of this on his own. But he's not smart in a different way. We know that Trump is not smart. He's loud and proud about not being smart and will not back down about any lies that he does. JD Vance doesn't have that.
No.
He doesn't have that. He's going to lose his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Trump is also, to take away from this, the other thing that I want people need to not let this miss them, and also need to start questioning why media handled it the way they did. The thing that he is really trying to push is firing Jerome Powell, because he thinks if he can get interest rates down, it will artificially drop costs before they balloon. But he wants the artificial drop so people will love him again. And the thing about this is, yesterday, someone asked him about, are you going to fire Jerome Powell? And this man sat there and said, well, you know, he was appointed by Biden, so he's got to go. If I was there, if I was in the press corps, I would risk it all, because I would be like, sir, Jerome Powell was he was nominated in 2019. You were president in 2019, and here is the video of you making that announcement. Why did you just lie to us and tell us that Joe Biden appointed him?
Because his cult people will believe it. Like, just like this week, but this week, did you see the video of Bill O'Reilly talking to the Fox News person, talking about, well, why didn't Biden put out this list and blah, blah, blah. And the Fox News anchor looked at him and said, that wasn't Biden's administration. A simple Google would have told you that was under Trump's administration. And Bill O'Reilly was stumbling. It was terrible.
And that's the whole thing with these Epstein files. Everyone's like, well, why didn't Joe Biden do it? Well, why didn't Trump do it? Because he had him first. You know why Joe Biden didn't do it? Because there was a bigger criminal actively taking government secrets.
Exactly.
And storing them in their bathroom and running for president at the same time.
And taking money from other countries and planes and everything else. By the way, y'all, the founder of the Heritage Foundation, Edwin Fuellner, died just in the last 24 hours. He was 83 years old.
So can we get back to this conversation?
Yeah.
That shows you how much I care.
Yeah, think.
But wait a minute. Here's why I think it's important, Aisha. Because we know what happens when key leaders die.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else starts fighting for that power. Right. And we're seeing it so very clearly with what's going on in the White House and everything right now. The billionaires are eating the billionaires. But I think that it was worth mentioning, because now we need to pay attention to all those who are underneath, the whole rule, because now they're going to be fighting for the exact same power in the Heritage Foundation.
Oh, it's going to be worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no, I was joking because I don't care about him. So, but you know, this whole thing with the MAGA influencers, will they come back? They probably will at some point. But right now, that's an open wound, and you know, he can say all he wants about what Joe Biden should have done, what Joe Biden shouldn't have done. It must be incumbent upon our media to start asking these hard questions. They keep lowballing the questions at him all the time. And he will say a lie, and not one person interrupts and says, hold on, wait a second, that's not true. Here are the facts. It's like they're afraid to embarrass him, but he's the emperor with no clothes on. He should be embarrassed.
They are afraid of him, though.
But you know what?
I think that's cracking.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. No one should ever be, and I've known this because I worked for state governments when there was a lame duck president. No one should ever be afraid of a lame duck president, ever. Because guess what? It might seem like they have a lot of power, but they actually have very little in their lame duck session. That's why Trump is trying to seize power the way that he is, like you just taking it by force or forcing the courts to do his dirty work. That is what it is, because he knows that he's lame duck. And I also too, he knows he's not going to run again. But here's the thing: if Joe Biden, you know, if he was in that stuff, Hillary could have asked for it in 2016. Joe Biden could have had it done in 2020. in 20, put it this way, when he announced that he ran again, Joe Biden could have put it out in 2022. What he needs to not be doing is asking why they didn't put it out, because guess what? He knows why he didn't. And that for me is a point of order that when I thought about it, I was kind of angry at Merrick Garland and Biden for that, because if they had put that out, things might actually be a little different now. Honestly, I think that Joe Biden, the week that they were talking about him and all the stuff about the debate, he should have dropped that. It would have changed the conversation just like that. He should have dropped it.
Too late now.
Sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. And
sometimes you got to bring the accelerator to the flyer, because that's exactly what they're doing. And I hate to say it, but we have to play just as hard and dirty as they are.
Oh yeah. When you're fighting with a gutter rat, you got to get into the gutter.
Yep.
So Enlightened Being says, I am so sick of the Epstein thing. We all know he's in them. There is so much evidence. The whole thing reeks. So much proof. Videos, Epstein's own deal with the government, and the guy who negotiated. Bart M. Van Patten says shared. And
just the fact that there's video of them being friends. He has a nerve this week to say that they weren't friends.
Nah.
There's video of you both leering at women, doing
Children.
a right man
Children. There's a whole video of them looking at children.
Yes, but here's the thing. They said that it's different if you have one picture with Jeffrey Epstein. What this man has 20, 25?
Oh, girl, he's got way more than that.
Yeah, when they can find more photos of you and Jeffrey Epstein than they can find of you and your wife,
Woo!
There's a problem.
Should I put up the we'll be right back logo or what? Okay, getting back to comments. Lala goes, thank you to Bart. And then says, Bart goes, I got you, Purple fam. And Lala goes, Aisha's been in many purple panels and done many things. Dean says, ooh, the Heritage Foundation stuff is going to be a real drama.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to talk about crabs in the barrel?
Popcorn. Buy your gourmet popcorn for this one.
Yep. Look. And the bake sales will be making the cookies, pies, and cakes for the celebration while they have their hoods on. AKA Moms for Liberty.
I love it.
Oh, God. But all right, for both of you, why should the average American care about this whole Epstein thing? What relevance? Because aren't they more concerned about prices and all? Why is it of importance, this whole Epstein thing, in your opinion, to the average American?
Anything that has to do with children.
Yeah.
I think if there's anything that even has a tiny remote spark for anyone in this world who's not a predator, care about children.
Yeah.
And the abuse that the children receive. Even MAGA, who wants to continue to about, we love the children. Take away. At some point, they know that they care about the children. Predator is a predator. It's just like, it's no different than having, a serial killer. You have a predator out there who is hurting those who cannot protect themselves. This is one of the most vile and disgusting things that anyone can do to another human, not alone a child, child. There is something beyond evil when you do something like that to the least of the little ones. Yes, I dare quote the Bible.
Yeah. But you know what though? If I'm not mistaken, I believe that there was in that bill, these people are so upset about the violation of children. Hey, been there. Okay? Still have the memories. But the problem is they also supported the man who cut funding to RAIN, which is a rape crisis center. Okay? So on one hand, tell me again that you're concerned about these kids, and then tell me again that you're okay with the bill cutting the funding that would support people. I think the reason that people should be interested in this and how it goes is because, one, they need to see how this falls apart. It's a house of cards. It's going to fall apart. But also, too, your president is lying to you. He's covering up his own misdeeds while he's in the White House. And that should concern everyone because he's using our tax dollars to do it. Printing off all those binders that they gave to those MAGA influencers, that was our money. Okay? This going to court and whatever it's going to cost to unseal these, that's our money. And this man cut $9 billion from NPR and PBS and still hasn't told us what he's going to do with that money. And I have a feeling that part of that cover up too is going to be all these cuts. The money's going to go into his pocket because he hasn't said what they're going to do for it. They're not adding it to, put it this way. If you're making the cuts, that means we're going to keep that $9 billion. So why did you need to cut $700 million from Medicaid when you got $9 billion? There was no need for it. This is a man who's going to rob us blind. And I think that is why people need to be aware of this and be concerned about it, because he's lying about this. He's lying about everything else that's really important. And you know what? If you get that if he takes that $9 billion, they better send us all checks because that's our money. And it was supposed to go for that thing.
Well, anything you want to add?
No, I think it's very disgusting that the fact that he's done so many cruel things in this world, like taking immigrants down, shredding absolutely everything that we have built in our country. This is no longer an American melting pot. People walk around in fear, even ignore the fact that, the Jean Carroll case was proven and all those things. But the thing that will take him down is Epstein. Over a list. That is just absolutely disgusting to me, to know that you can close your eyes to everything else that he's done to our country, but that's where your line is. That tells a lot about you.
It does, but you know what, though, Lala, we have to remember the Epstein child trafficking thing, not just Epstein, the child trafficking thing is how QAnon started. And QAnon is what infected MAGA, right? So the Tea Party, it morphs into MAGA, and QAnon gives it the fuel. And so that thing will be, because that is how they really were formed as a collective, that's always going to be the only thing that can take it apart. And the truth is, and here's, like I said at the very beginning, Dems need to stay out of this, but if they do get into it, the one thing that they should do is Crawford and Lane Maxwell. Call it a day.
Okay. Enlightened Beings goes, even MAGA has a line, but it's crazy that the line is Epstein, not hate, cruelty, or them reps 47 has done. The assaults against Jean Carroll, but Epstein. Agreed. But you see, it's so interesting. They're all following in line now. It all comes down to power. They all want the power. And I'm going to recommend, I was watching a documentary on Frontline that I would suggest people should check out. Let me just pull up my tab.
I saw that, and I am definitely going to watch it, Dr. Vibe.
It is a very, very good documentary called 47's Power and the Rule of Law. It's a full documentary, and it goes all the way back to the Nixon days. This unlimited power goes back to the Watergate days, the Nixon, a lot of people. And Bannon is at either.
Well, that's why he keeps saying he wants his Roy Cohn, because Roy Cohn was the one who did all that stuff for Nixon.
Yeah. Bannon
And that's why he hired the guy who was dressed like Michael Jackson in Smooth Criminal. What's his name? With the white hair. He went to jail. He's got a pointy nose. He looks like Gargamel from the Smurfs.
Yeah.
What is his name? Huh?
Pulaski?
No, it's a white guy that had Trump's name tattooed on his back.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
What?
You would do that? Wow.
Oh, what's the guy's name? Oh.
It escapes me. But he's got gray hair and black eyebrows.
Yeah, Roger Stone.
Yes. Roger Stone. He has. I take it back. He has Roy Cohn's picture on his back. That's why Trump hired him in the first administration, because Roger Stone was supposed to be his Roy Cohn.
Yeah, Roger Stone. That's the name you're looking for. Roger Stone. Yes. But yeah, the documentary, I've been asked in the chat to put the name of the documentary. It is really good. And Frontline always does a good job. And one of the fun things, interesting things, some in the comments said, "Ooh, I didn't think they'd put this out because of what's happened with their loss of funding from the federal government, but they put it out."
Why not?
Yeah, why not? What's holding him back now?
Why hold it back? He cut the funding already, so might as well just let it all flow. And unfortunately, this is going to be something that's happening with a lot of networks.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation topic. So I am Dr. Tachi. Welcome. I see you're in the house. Good on time. Good and on time. I'm going to put it and share the documentary link with everybody. I would highly recommend people watch this, because it even goes into the firings of all the people in U.S. aid. It all talks about how he forced those law firms to do a deal with him.
Right.
Yeah.
It goes into all that stuff. Pam Bondi, also when he made that speech at the Department of Justice, goes into all of that. It's just crazy. All right. I've just shared the link on most of the platforms too. It's called 47 Power and the Rule of Law. The link is there, and I may before the end actually show it on the screen. All right. Oh, do you think this will be the downfall of 47?
I think it's the beginning of the cracking. Yes.
Okay.
Because he started fracturing his own cult members.
Yeah, I agree.
They're all going to come back. It's short term.
No, I honestly, if this thing is the sticking point for them, they're not going to take anything less than him giving them information. As it is, a lot of them, like even Nick Fuentes, are talking about they don't want the grand jury stuff. They want everything, because guess what MAGA knows? They know that there's over 1 million documents in the file. So if they only give them like 200 or 300, they're going to be like,
I'm not going to go for it.
You are 999,000 short.
Well,
we need our documents.
Like
so
you said,
because remember, Pam Bondi gave them these thick binders of information, and they skimmed it all to the point that they're like, oh, this is stuff we already knew. So if they go and do that same thing again for a second time, it's going to be ugly. He might say it's the courts or whatever, but then the back thing is like, but you can still release the file. The court says you can't release grand jury stuff, but you can still release what's in the file. Where's the list? Because they want that list.
They want the list.
They want the list and the flight log.
Hold on now. Many different people are saying there isn't a list. People who know a lot say there's not a list.
No, the people who are saying there's not a list are the people who work for Trump and the media who's afraid of Trump. And the media who's afraid of Trump, honestly.
Point taken. But I've heard a lot of people, and there was a lady who, as a journalist in Florida, who like they interviewed on CNN, who knows a lot about this, and says she doesn't believe this. But when you bring the fact that people are afraid,
right,
that's the whole.
And that's what I've noticed all week. No matter what channel you went to, every last one of them has said, "Well, there's no list." Well, how do you know if you've never seen the file?
True.
I'm gonna tell you, Trump knows there's a list. Pam Bondi knows there's a list, because otherwise she wouldn't have said what she said. She had to walk that back. She said the list was on her desk. She had to walk that back, because guess what? if the list didn't, if there was no list and it didn't contain Donald Trump and it only contained Democrats, it would be out.
It would have been out.
Period. If the list had the information that they want to find, he would have put it out. The problem is that there is a list. And I'm not saying there's a list of like, oh, so-and-so came to my island on this. Guess what? When you do a flight log on a private jet, you got to list the fuel and the passengers. Okay? The fuel and the passengers. I'm sure that there are if there's a list, put it this way, I don't think the list might have necessarily been compiled by Jeffrey Epstein, but I think all the documentation that they have, they were able to compose a list based on what they had from him. Say, oh, so this person flew with him on this day. Like for example, how do we know about Prince Andrew? There's a list. And I don't want, at the risk of sounding MAGA crazy, there's a list because he was one of the first people we knew about.
Yeah.
How do we know that information? He wasn't volunteering it. That was something that came in discovery in that case. So
clearly, I heard that Galan is the list. She's the list.
And see, that's the thing. He might not have kept it. When you have, I actually did some of this research when I was in grad school with young girls who were working in prostitution, and there's this pecking order. There's a bot. Yeah, that was Ghislaine Maxwell, and she was in charge of all the girls and connecting all the girls to the guys and what guys liked which girls or what kind of girls they liked. She has a list, and I want people to be sure about this. I think what people are thinking is that Jeffrey Epstein has a list of no.
Yeah, people are thinking an actual list.
Setting up the connections who had that list. I promise you, that night that she took that picture with Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and Melania pre-surgery, that she had that night they were scoping people. She had something set up.
Yes.
She had something set up for people. Okay? Because here's the thing. Jeffrey Epstein actually was a thief. That's how he got his money. He got people, he did it legally, but it was still white collar crime. And I promise you, he's in all these rooms. I promise you, he's telling people things. Just like, put it this way, just like there are a whole lot of celebrities that probably knew what Diddy was doing at his parties, but still went to the parties, but left before things got crazy because they knew what would go on. The free costs were the free costs were basically an open secret around the music business. And I promise you, around Florida and around that circle, the Jeffrey Epstein stuff was just as open a secret.
All right. If I have your permission to interrupt, I put up a quick poll. If you're watching this live on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube page, simple question. Do you think there is an Epstein list? 1, yes. 2, no. 3, not sure. So far, people who have voted say 100% yes.
And that's why they need to speak to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes.
Because the other thing, too, is that she can verify everything. She can verify that she went to Trump and asked Trump to do this thing for Jeffrey Epstein, write this thing. And she can say that she collected it directly from him. The other part, too, is that I'm sure there are phone records.
Oh, you know that there are.
There are phone records of her calling him for this thing. And Trump doesn't do emails. And he doesn't do emails for this purpose.
Okay. Dr. Tachi says there's a list. There's definitely a list. Mm-hmm. She also says that, but it would make sense if Epstein did not compile that list to protect himself later.
Yeah.
I think he's smart. I think he's smarter than people think he is.
Well, remember, and I've listened to way too much of MAGA talking about this week, but there are visitors logs showing Ghislaine visiting Epstein while he was in prison.
Okay.
And those are probably the discussions that were had.
And Dr. Tachi says, What if the list is tattooed on somebody's head like in Rush Hour 2?
Or maybe Roger Stone's back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Good, good take, Dr. Tachi.
That is excellent, Dr. Tachi.
That is so good. That is so good. All right. Well, let's move to our next conversation topic. The 47 administration will start sharing the personal information of nearly 79 million Medicaid enrollees, including home addresses and ethnicities, with federal authorities to ICE.
Let me just clear this up right now. You cannot, if you are undocumented, you're not eligible for Medicaid, because they already ask you that at the state level. They already ask people that. So you can't. This is not. They're saying this is to do this. This is so that they can keep track on people, these 79 million people that they're going to try and deport, period.
Well, Aisha, we talked about last week, and this is the same move that HUD is doing with ICE as well, because those who are undocumented, they also cannot officially have anything from the government or any kind of substance. But if there is a family member or an anchor baby, they can live in the apartment with them. They just cannot receive any assistance. Right. And they reduce the amount that the person who does qualify for if someone is in there. So this is the exact same thing that they're doing with HUD. All of these agencies are lining up to do the same thing.
But there's a bigger thing here, right? They know that undocumented people can't qualify for these services.
Exactly.
They know that their American-born children can.
That's right.
This is how they're trying to, one, get to the parents, but also he's trying to revoke the 14th Amendment of those kids without going to court.
Exactly. And the way the courts are going, we see how that's going.
He's trying to circumvent the process and expedite it as it is. I forgot what others, you have a whole bunch of states right now in the South particularly that are like, this is something he threw out this like yesterday when he was having his meltdown. Oh, we're going to actually renovate the real Alcatraz. You know how many billions of dollars that's going to cost us?
Have you ever been there? I have, baby. It's gonna be so much money. You can't even count. It's totally uninhabitable. But so is freaking alligator Auschwitz.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like he's gaslighting people by like I'm taking the stuff that makes you safe, including the National Weather Service and NOAA. NPR, which informs you, and PBS, that also gives you information. I'm gonna take that away, but I'm gonna take that money and I'm gonna put this into renovating Alcatraz. For what purpose?
Just for another smokescreen. That's what he does. Everything is a smokescreen for something else that you're doing.
And this is the part that is so angering. And they are going right now. This is right. Elected Republicans are going to have to have a come to Jesus moment, but they're also going to get caught doing some of this. They got caught this week saying, oh, they should release all the files. Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about they should release all the files. They're all the Epstein files, and voted no later that evening. To release Lauren Boebert did the same thing. A bunch of Republicans did the same thing. Because remember, that bill failed unanimously with Republicans unanimously. So these people now realize they're underwater, because I did see a video where someone said, well, I'm really disappointed because, here I thought Marjorie Taylor Greene was MAGA and she was like, get these files, and then she votes to not release them.
Boy, they sure are showing. I ain't gonna say they're showing the true colors, because they've been showing the true colors all along. But at some point, this is all gonna come back and bite them all in the ass, and I hope that I'm alive to see it.
Well, I'm gonna tell Marjorie Taylor Greene to pull her dress down because her ass is showing.
Oh my God, you got that right.
And she's gone on all these podcasts talking about the Epstein thing and didn't vote for it. You watch. MAGA's gonna pull a fast one on her next year.
Oh yeah, I don't think she's ready for it. I don't think she's ready for it.
I don't think she's ready for it either. And what's going to happen is that they're all underwater right now. They're trying. That's why you even have Mike Johnson saying, "Yeah, they should release everything," because he's scared.
But he fell back too.
Exactly, he fell back for now, because guess who's also in grave danger in their district? The Speaker of the House.
Yep.
Why? Because 40% of his constituents are going to lose their health care, and the hospital in his district, one of the hospitals is closing.
But it ain't going to happen till after the next midterm. So
No. It's happening now.
Yeah,
hospitals
right now.
Closing. They're closing
right now, Dr. Vibe.
They're closing now.
I do know, but I hear the brunt of this is going to happen after the midterms, though.
Well, no,
maybe they're going to speed this up as fast as possible.
People it's not going to happen after midterms. I can tell you it's happening now because Connecticut right now got the order that people who are on Medicaid or on SNAP, they already got their letters.
Oh wow!
Saying that they got their work requirement letters.
Oh wow!
Already. Because here's the thing: states cannot afford to do the other side of it. So those
telling them ahead of time,
right?
But hold on, did the Republicans not think that was going to happen? Like that's suicide for them. They think. Okay.
Well, remember, like I told you in the beginning when I told you about Josh Johnson's comedy, he didn't think that far. They didn't think that far ahead, right? They thought that it wouldn't happen until next year. But for example, there's a rural hospital in Nebraska that's closing. They announced they're closing now. They started laying people off, and they're going to close by the end of the year because they're not able to sustain. Here's the backsliding that people need to be worried about. Yes, that part's not going to happen until next year. But guess what? What is that? What's the bill called that starts with an R?
Oh, no.
Not a reconciliation bill, but is it reconciliation? I think it might be reconciliation. But they're moving to take away funding that was already granted and earmarked for them for this year. That's the funding that they took away from NPR and PBS. The funding that was already given to them.
Right.
They're taking it back. So they're also doing that with the healthcare part too. And those grants and things that those local hospitals were getting,
yes,
they're doing that. But here's the bigger part. People are going to fall off on this before it takes place because they have increased the paperwork already. Okay. States can't just wait till, it's January 1st, 2026. Now we have to start. No, because guess what? You got to remember, with these cuts came losses of jobs and the people who would do all that stuff. Yep. So states have to do their stuff now. And that's what it's going to be. They weren't thinking that far because guess what? Not one person in his administration has ever run a state. Not one Republican has run a state where they ran it well, if they were a governor. So that's where we are, and this is going to be it's going to be a bigger problem than what they think, and they're not going to be able to run away from it because people are finding out now.
All right. Do I have your permission to interrupt?
Yeah.
I got some comments here. Dr. Chachi says this is how he continues to fuel the flames of untruth, and these imbeciles continue to believe in him. You're not an imbecile. If you're not eligible for Medicaid if you are not documented.
Right.
Dr. Chachi says Alcatraz is weathered by being in the middle of the U.S., middle of the sea. First of all, is Alcatraz a federal prison?
Last time I checked, I thought it was New York.
What, Alcatraz?
Yeah,
no, Alcatraz is in California.
California, it's off the.
What's the prison that's on the island in New York?
That's Rikers, isn't it?
Rikers.
Well, you know what?
Look, that's nice that we don't really know.
Right, but guess what? You can't tell the difference between the two because they're just so dilapidated. I see a picture of Rikers, I think it's Alcatraz. I see a picture of Alcatraz, I think it's Rikers. They look alike.
Oh, that's funny.
And nobody likes Rikers.
No. That's not. Yeah. No.
Look, you know how you know nobody likes Rikers? Because that's always the threat that they use on Law and Order, all the franchises.
Alcatraz was a federal prison from 1934 until it was closed in 1963. It is now a historic site and museum managed by the National Park Service. So it is under national.
It's federal. Yeah.
It's federal. All right. Dr. Chachi says, now you know those elect Republicans don't know Jesus. So how will they come to him?
I don't think you want them.
Okay.
Didn't he say, I will turn away from you?
Well, she's got wait. She's got a point there because remember, Trump does think that he was chosen by Jesus.
That's cool. But they're all running back to him. Follow the money.
They're running back. They're running back to him until their constituents get really mad.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it Lisa Murkowski or Susan Collins that said that they got a whole but that their phones have been ringing nonstop about this?
Enlightened Being says Denver is seeing it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Dr. Tachi says none of them have run an ice cream stand, not to talk of running states. Good take. So where is this ICE thing going to stop? Is it going to stop?
It's not going to stop until
they increased the number of people
out of
per
office.
day. But guess what? Stephen Miller increased the number of people per day. That first he said they were at 3,000. Now they're at 7,000.
You're kidding me.
No, that's the goal that he gave.
7,000 people.
7,000. And you know what though? I think the questions that people should really be asking, and this to me is something that Democrats should be doing. Find out who are these ICE people, who hired them, because the fact that they gave that amount of budget and they plan on hiring 10,000 more ICE agents tells me one thing: all those 10,000 of those people are going to be contract employees, because a lot of them would never pass any kind of background check. They're going to have to.
All about cruelty. It doesn't. There's no due system. There's no due process. There's no nothing. It's all about cruelty.
Yeah, but I think that those people are bounty hunters because
they are.
And this is why I believe that's why the budget was so high. They put a dollar amount per person per head. Okay, these bounty hunters are motivated the way that they are because they get a bonus or something for they get paid per person, which makes me think this is also why they are masked up, because these people don't work for the federal government legitimately.
You know who I think they are. A lot of them.
January 6ers.
That's what I said.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's also why they cover up, and I think that's why he let them loose. Because here's the thing: when we sit and we think about 2020, does anyone remember those police wearing brown shirts, brown t-shirts, and khaki fatigues pants, but had no insignia? And he had them, those are the ones that he was having fire pellet guns at the Black Lives Matter protest before he went and took that picture at that church. And people kept saying, who are these people? Because they're not wearing insignia. Who are these people? Because here's my thing. The last, I have seen, if ICE is one bureau, why is the uniform for the agents on the streets different depending on where you see them?
Exactly.
Because some people's ICE thing says police, ICE. Well, ICE, they're not really police. And so it's like there's so much disjointment there that it makes me think that this is the point. And this thing about the 79 million Medicaid enrollees is the point of all of this is to cause and inflict as much pain as possible on the 79 million people that they assume are all Democrats. Let's be very, very clear about that.
Oh,
And
yeah,
the reason
this is the way they're targeting.
I read this study this morning, and they asked white people, MAGA people, who thought that, well, this country is no longer there, doesn't look the same anymore, and they're the minority. Ask them, what percentage of the population do you think are Black people? They said about 60%. What percentage of the population do you think are Latino? 70%. So 130% of the population. Oh, and they think that white people are like 20%.
Wow.
So when you add, and then Asians were 10 and indigenous were 10, and then they had it was like 8%. But the thing of it is that none of it added up to 100%. It well exceeded it. And the fact is that when you tell them no, the Black population is about 13%, and it's been that way all this time.
Yep.
And they're just like, that's not true. because this video I saw on YouTube said this and this and this. So that is in not only that, then they asked what percentage of Black people do you think are on welfare? And they're like 80%.
Oh my gosh.
61%.
They're going to die on that cross.
61% of Medicaid enrollees are white. 61. That is a majority. That is a majority. And so here is the thing. It's the fact they have skewed. They have done a really good job this last, 30 years of skewing the numbers to the point that they can take and pick these people's pockets bare. Because the truth is, they're robbing from the rest of us, our tax dollars and everything.
80%.
They're stealing MAGA. They are stealing
80%.
MAGA's from MAGA's coffers. You will have no health care. You will have no food assistance. You will have no housing assistance. You won't have this. You won't have that. And at the end of the day, you'll only have your red hat.
All right. I do have your permission to interrupt again. Some good comments going here. Dr. Tachi's going, expose them. Enlightened Beings goes, MAGA math.
Exactly.
Comment of the day so far. I think we may have to do a hashtag, MAGA math. Right. Okay.
I'm gonna go find that article,
Okay.
And I'm gonna use that hashtag.
Dr. Tachi says, enlightened beings, exactly. Sandor Shala says, purposeful division, keeping the poor people fighting other poor people. Welcome, by the way, Sandor Shala.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good comment. Good, strong comment.
But you know what, though? Here is that thing. And I wrote this when I wrote this article for Medium. That's one of the things that I said is what he said about the division part of it. Bernie Sanders gets that division part of it, but he is reluctant to admit that racism does play into it. Because when you look at things at the heart of this country, it has always been the racism at play. Because you tell you a story. So there are these people being persecuted in Europe, right? They want to run from the tyranny of a king because he wouldn't let them practice the faith that they want to practice. So they come to this country to practice the faith that they couldn't practice there. And the first thing they do is tell the indigenous people who are here enjoying their lovely land that they own and tell them, you can't practice your religion here because this is our land and we're taking it from you. But we're going to kill you and rape you and beat you into doing it. And wow, this land needs a lot of work. Oh, we're going to go to Africa. We'll get some of those people and bring them here. Oh, we'll bring you here. But guess what? You can't speak your language. You can't use your own name. And I am entitled. And you're not considered human. So I can do whatever I want to you. And this is the history of their people that they don't tell. They so badly want to believe that they are the good people in this story. And they're actually the biggest.
They're white saviors. They always see themselves as the white saviors.
Yes, but they're always the villain. When you look at people who are others in this country, they're always the villain in our stories, but they're always the hero in their own. And so the article, I'll give you the name of the article that I wrote. It's called White Women, It's Your Time to Clean Your Whole Kitchen, Not Just the Dishes. and that's
Did you write that?
I did, yeah.
What? Why I'm going? That's an Aisha K. Staggers title.
Yeah, and that's a metaphor because I tell the story of when the first time I started learning how to do chores, my dad told me to wash the dishes. I was like 9, so I literally washed the dishes. It's like, no, washing the dishes means you have to clean the whole kitchen, wipe down the counters, wipe down the table, sweep the floor, mop the floor if it needs it, make sure everything's put away. I did not know that. You said clean the kitchen. So white women need to clean their kitchen the way Black mamas tell you to clean the kitchen. Everything.
Wow. Is that going on any other platform? Are you?
It's on my Medium. It's up for free. Here, I'll read it. I'll read this short piece to you.
Oh boy. I used to man, 2 weeks away. She was ready for today.
Yes. It says, so no, I'm not going to say clean the system, not examine your privilege, not do the work in vague, performative terms. I'm saying clean your whole kitchen, the whole thing, the crusted over history, the spoiled policies, the mold of cowardice, the crumbs of complicity you've swept into the corners and hope no one would notice, because this country is in flames and white women are still lighting matches with one hand and writing feminist manifestos with the other.
Okay. Enough said. Wow. Fire. But one of my favorite faces in the world said it all. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I did have some choice words for Pam Bondi, Linda McMahon, Laura Loomer, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Be my bedtime reading tonight.
I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Okay, next conversation piece, because I think we don't have any open comments. I'm just going to take a quick look. We are good for comments right now. All right, good. Let's, this story never seems to go away. 47 caught in the act of pulling election theft schemes. It's time for Louisville to chime in. Hi, Lala. Talk to us about this.
This is the never-ending story in the upside down, because like I told you, this is our $10,000 balls thrown at us at one time, and if we're able to catch 2 or 3 of them, listen, it's been proven. We know it. Musk has come out and said it. Aisha and I told you a long time ago. Listen, there is going to be more and more proof of this coming out. Now, here's what he is trying to do, and he's pulling this in Colorado. They have already gone to the election boards, and there are many Republican people over the election committees and all that stuff that are the ones who called alarm on this.
Yeah.
Okay. They're the ones who's like, no, because he sent his cronies and was like, we need to look at your machines. We need to check them out. We need to look at the inner workings. We need to see what's going on with your machines so that we can make sure that there's not going to be any problems in the next election. And she was like, no, sir, you may not. And the fact that she stood up to them and they had to go away empty-handed says a lot.
They had no subpoena.
They had no subpoena. And the fact that this was a Republican who was sounding the alarm is telling you that there's still more discord underneath this whole tornado. Everybody knows that there's a calm in the middle of a tornado, right? Everything else swirls around you. More and more people are kind of jumping back into that calm and seeing that all of this is crazy. Everybody has a line. Everybody has a line, like we're seeing with the MAGA. They have a line. When that line is drawn, then they're like, you know what? No, this is not okay. And now we're seeing a lot of the Republicans who are dealing with the voting machines and dealing with their voting districts doing the same things. Outside of Texas, because we know Texas is going to fall in line. Outside of Florida, we know they're going to fall in line. You have people who say, no, this is not okay. You are now crossing the line, and we will stand up for our voting rights here. So don't think that they won't come back with some kind subpoena. That's what they do. And don't forget that they also have the Supreme Court in their pocket.
Yeah.
So this is the first step. See, they have to go through the steps first before they take it to the higher courts. And once they get to the higher courts, that's where they usually win. But you also have people like, Newsom, who is like, he's tripling down. Now, listen, I've always said Newsom is not my 100% ride or die. He's not. There's a lot of things that he's done that I don't like, but there's also a lot of things that I totally agree with him on. And he says if Texas is going to redraw their lines, so is California, because they're just.
I saw that and I was like, that's excellent.
Yeah, he said.
Remember, California has the biggest amount of electoral votes.
Exactly.
Was that the video where he said we give more to the federal government than they give us money-wise? Did you see that video?
Yeah, I did, but that's the second video. That tells you just how hard this man is fighting.
Yeah, my state is the same way. We're like in that top 5 bracket with California. But you know what though? I'll tell you what this is about. This is about November 4th, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
While this is an off year for some federal elections, unless somebody died or whatever, there are still mayoral races and gubernatorial races. If I'm not mistaken, I think Colorado has a gubernatorial race
coming up.
So all the states that have those races before the primaries, they have to check the machines, calibrate the machines, and then report if there's any irregularities that they find before they put those out for people to vote with. And Trump is afraid that they are going to find out that Elon Musk tampered with those machines. And mind you, a lot of these states that he's trying to pull this in are the swing states. There's Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin is in there, those states. And so I really honestly think that they're trying to set this thing back so that part isn't discovered.
Oh yes, honey, this is the thinking of a master plan. All right, this is part of Project 2025. We know it, we see it, we saw it, we told you.
Yep.
All right. So if you're watching live on the YouTube channel, we're doing another quick poll. Do you feel like the 2024 American election was stolen? 1 yes, 2 no, 3 not sure. We already have 1 vote in.
If you watched this the night that the results came in, you know that me and Lala were having some issues. When I said the math doesn't make sense, I said that early on. The math doesn't make sense. And the example I give is not Republican math. I give Democrat math because I said, I don't care. My state, Harris won. That was pretty much a given. But when you only have 4% of the vote in, you don't call it.
No.
Because what if she didn't win?
Well, she did.
She won Connecticut. But the thing is that at 4%, you don't need to call it. You probably need to wait. I think that they shouldn't call anything until they have at least 90% of the vote in. If they're going to say a projected
on the presidential race, you know what I mean? Like, some of those lower ones you see them calling early, but even some of the lower ones were like, wait a minute, we ain't done counting. How are we gonna call it?
They called Arizona before the polls even closed.
Exactly.
People are still voting. And that for me is the reason that Trump was so upset about 2020, because he's run 3 presidential elections. He's hacked 2. The only one he couldn't hack was 2020. And why? Because COVID happened. And that is why he was trying so hard to not do anything about COVID. Okay. Because he knew that if we had to go to voting by mail, all these other ways, he could not hack that. You cannot hack the U.S. Postal Service, because guess what? That's a crime. It's federal crime.
Hold on. You're saying crime in this administration? That's an oxymoron.
No, you got to remember, he doesn't do these blatant kind of things that everybody knows. If you interfere with the mail, it's a federal crime. and it's substantial time in prison. And guess what? A lot of all the trials come pretty fast in those. So
Yeah.
he knows, and also too, how is he going to hack all the mail?
Look, if the January 6th got free, and he'll get anyone to do anything for him. Dr. Chachi says, can't wait to read the whole piece. Talking about your article. Part of the problem is that dominant non-melanated American culture operates from a lens of low context behavior. Everything must be explicitly explained. Sandor, you're coming in strong for the first time being here. Pam Bondi, Christy Nome, I know that's what you meant to say, and Carolyn Levitt should have peaked at Tuesday afternoon.
I had some choice words. Look, I had some seriously choice words for all of them, but I gave my greatest to Laura Loomer because I'm still trying to figure out how this nobody got all this power in the White House.
Oh,
She's not an elected official. She literally just makes hate videos.
what's the story on Christy Nome with all her Instagram?
Oh yeah, Christy Nome is also in here too. I also wrote about her in here too. Yeah. Actually, she was the other one.
Sander voted 3, and I would love to hear the thought process of why you're not really sure, because so many of us are sure here. I always like to hear other people's take. So, if you're not sure, tell us what it is that gives you doubt about if the election was stolen or not. We're open here. We like to hear what people's thoughts are. I really want to know.
Okay, good stuff.
I just do because here's the one thing. I literally, and I understand that you weren't with us that night. I have a serious background in research and statistics. I know how to do the raw data. I was counting as the results were coming in. He was at like 260 something before it was even 8 o'clock on the West Coast. And the only way that could have happened was if you subtract all the swing states which weren't closed, which hadn't been called for him. And some of those hadn't been called at all. So if you subtracted Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and California, they were not about to do California, but they were getting close enough to it because they called Arizona, and
they knew that would be the tipping point. Then everybody would have been like, hell.
Right, we're on Eastern time, but it was, what was it, like 9 o'clock here when they called Arizona for him, which means it wasn't even their closing time. And they did that based on, and this is the part that was weird. They said they made those numbers based on exit polling. Well, guess what? When people exit and they do exit polling, they can tell you they voted anyway.
I
don't have to tell you how they did it.
I just thought of an interesting idea. You know what we should do for an episode? We should play back that night and watch it live with everybody.
Oh yeah, we should.
Because it will just reinforce what Aisha and LaLa were saying. They're saying something. I remember them saying something's up here. Something's funny here. But and I think we'll talk about this offline. I'd like to replay that as an episode and replay it live. And us sitting in live, and people can watch and hear what was being said that night.
Yeah, because I think there was a point in the night where they were like, they had like that total, and I'm like, wait a second, there's something here. So I decided that let me try something, and I subtracted all of the swing states from that total. And that was it was the same as the last total they gave before they gave him that bump with the swing states.
All right. That's
how we know something wasn't right.
Okay. Sandor says, well, the people he mentioned, that there's a combined IQ of 73 in the White House. And he says, I'm not in America. I wasn't around for the polls. And
gotcha. Yeah.
April
said, we're gonna watch the show, so we're gonna do that again. So
we gotta do that. Yeah,
it was a good one.
April says, speak on I don't know what the IRLR is, but you can retype that. But good to have you here, April, as always.
And you know what? I mean, I will never apologize in this piece for calling Laura Loomer Trump's
Low! Ouch!
Never. She deserved it.
Ouch!
When the truth comes out.
Oh boy. All right. Aisha,
Yes.
are you ever going to take another week off? I'm just joking. Let's move to the next. Sandor says, yeah, I love it. So I think he'd like to do that replay. So we'll talk about it offline if there's a slow news week. Yeah, right. Let's move to our next conversation. American Republican lawmakers are taking action against the National Educational Association over radical ideals. Lala?
That's not me. That's Aisha. She knows a little bit more about this
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Basically, they're trying to dismantle one of the largest educational teachers unions, mostly because they don't like the woman who's the head of it. She is married to a woman. She has adopted kids. This is the same woman that that was doing a hearing, and they told her that she wasn't a real mother. Marjorie Taylor Greene told her she wasn't a real mother because she didn't birth her kids.
Oh.
But the reason that they're doing this is because the NEA is going to fight the closure of the Department of Education. So they think that if they can dismantle the NEA, that they will be able to do this. And they also want to. This is about those white citizens councils reappearing as Moms for Liberty, who want to take over the NEA so that they can control and indoctrinate kids to the right. That's all this is about. And the thing for me is that's pathetic. You all have your organization. Support Moms for Liberty. The reason that those women aren't winning elections. They keep running for everything and they keep losing. They lost big time in 2024. And nobody talks about that. But also too, if you see this happen, this is how they start to pick away at unions. They want to get rid of the unions, period. They want to they want to get rid of the requirements for teacher certification. And at this point, the reason that they're focused on this is because they don't understand what the Department of Education does. Donald Trump sits here, and like I said, my mother was a teacher for nearly 50 years. My sister is a teacher. My best friend is a principal. And I taught second grade and fifth grade for a short time. Trump says the Department of Education, we're going to close it and return education to the states. Only an idiot would say something that stupid, because guess what? Every state has its own Department of Education, and that Department of Education determines the curriculum. They determine a per pupil minimum. They determine they make sure all the laws are being filed compared to federal guidelines, but it's basically in the state's hands. That's why an 8th grade education in Connecticut is a 10th grade education in Mississippi is the same as an 8th grade education in Connecticut. Okay? That's why. And if you recall Brown versus Board of Education, it wasn't the Department of Education. It was the Board of Education, Topeka, Kansas, and it was a class action lawsuit with Topeka being the head, but there were all these other departments of education in all these other states that were a part of it, including South Carolina. So this thing about trying to get rid of this, change, Republicans seem to believe that anyone who wants education is a radical liberal. But guess what? That's the purpose of education. Think about what the word liberal means. It comes from the Greek libertas. It means freedom. Freedom. So they don't like people to be free thinkers. And they don't want their kids to be free thinkers. Which is really sad in a country that's going to need a lot of those people to do that, because the careers that are going to be available for them are going to be necessary that they are able to think that way. You know, I think about this. My daughter and I were talking last week about how they teach multiplication now. When the three of us are here, all Gen X, when we went to elementary school, you learned 5 times 5 was 25, because why? You just had to memorize it, because guess what? 5 times 5 never changes.
Never changes.
Never changes. But if these kids want to multiply, 5 times 12 is 60. It never changes. But these kids we're being taught that you multiply the 5 times, you break the 12 into 10 and 2. You multiply the 5 times the 10, and that gives you 50. Then you multiply the 5 times the 2, and that gives you 10. And you add 50 and 10 together, and you get 60. Why did I need to know all that when I could have just remembered that 5 times 12 is 60?
I ain't got no fight for you in that one.
But those are we're already making our children stupid.
They can't even read our government's documents. They don't teach cursive anymore.
No, they don't teach cursive anymore. Nope. So those, I can understand wanting to bring some of those things back. But you know what? Here's the other thing too. If we're going to have these generations that are rooted in social media, the radical ideas aren't coming from school, honey. They're coming from the rabbit holes and the black hole on social media. Those kids are exposed to far more radical ideals from the right on social media than they're ever exposed to in school. But the thing is that they also want to be able to control what kids learn about our history. That's why the NEA does make recommendations on textbooks. And guess what? They want to get rid of the textbooks the way they are. They're already rewriting history with the internet. Because if I see another N-word go home sign when nobody was saying that in the 1960s, and I see a picture from the 1950s and 60s and it says N-word go home, I know it's not real. But that's how they're rewriting history. And as if that makes it even more palatable and more or kinder, period. Okay, but this is where we are right now. And Republicans are, put it this way, you can tell which Republicans either have adult children who aren't going to be in school or have children in private school. Because guess what? If they had kids in public school, if their children needed student loans for college and things like that, they would be very concerned about the Department of Education closing, because they're about to move. They're moving the student loan part to another entity that doesn't deal with education. And what they're saying is, guess what? You got college students going to school this fall who don't have their financial aid packages ready because there's no one there to answer the phones or answer questions or give them the information back about the student's need. And this is going to hurt HBCUs the most, because HBCUs really, a lot of them really depend on the student enrollment and the loan money to function.
Well, comments here. April says on our previous topic, Kamala should have called a recount. Sandor says they want everyone fat and dumb. And Sandor says, complimentary, you guys are Gen X. You're not exactly breaking down any stereotypes. You look good. And producer Matt goes, I prefer to write in cursive, but no one can read it now. So I just write in print so people don't think I'm writing in another language.
And that's going to be, look, That's going to be something that they're going to pick up on. They're going to say, oh, it looked like it was Arabic.
Well, they're making that excuse for a lot of these mom and dad tattoos that they're busting people for.
And here's the thing. We can no longer say that we're descending into fascism. We're descending into authoritarianism.
We're in it.
And that's what I said in that piece. We're already here. Because when they start policing tattoos on your own body, policing your womb, policing your health care, policing the education you get, policing what you say, when we have a First Amendment.
Are you in a police state now?
We've been here since January.
Yep.
And the part that I have to really impart on people is we still have 3.5 years.
Yep.
It's only been
but you have to realize
months.
You realize though 47 is making his major push between now and the midterm. So the real intensity is between now and next November. So that's why you're seeing everything. I thought about the other day, why are they pushing through? Because they know they'll be pushed back. So get everything through by the midterms. But even then, 47 don't care about Congress or House of Representatives anyways. So
here's the part.
Is 50% complete.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not that he doesn't care, because the thing is, if the House and Senate flip, he's going to be in a world of hurt. What he has right now is he has a Congress, a House, and a Senate that are willing to give him carte blanche on everything.
Just his feet?
Yeah, they basically are his background singers.
All right. LaLa, you were saying about Project 2025 is what?
It's 50% complete.
Yeah, not even 6 months. There you go. It's already done. So,
and wasn't the whole goal, LaLa, of Project 2025 for them to get all this done within the first year anyway?
Yes.
That's what I read. Okay, I did read that right.
All right. Which will lead with a positive note, and this will be led by LaLa. And yes, put it back up. Okay, and also we're gonna. Both these are gonna chat about how can Americans fight back in a positive way. Also, on the YouTube channel, if you're watching the Dr. Vibe YouTube channel, we'd like you to put your comments on how do you feel, if you feel Americans should fight back. What are ways that Americans can fight back? And we have I'm going to call our magic wall come up. So we're calling the last few comments. But if you put your comments up, we can show it on our magic wall. So LaLa, how can Americans fight back in a positive way?
Well, I am going to share with something that you could do every day that, like I said, we have 50,000 million trillion balls being thrown at us every day, and you can't seem to catch them all. So today, the ball that I'm going to hold is feeding people who need to be fed, because all of these programs are being cut. Meals on Wheels for our elderly are being cut. Their Medicaid is being cut. So they're not even going to have the funds to go and even feed themselves. Just this week also, the U.S. aid was instructed to destroy over 500 million, I believe. Let me double check that number. Was it million?
I think so. It was like 500,000, I think, or something like that. 5 million, something like that. It was a 5 number, but it was a high number because it cost them more money to destroy them than it did to make them.
Yes, and what they're saying is that they were expired, and how they tried to cover it up is that they said, well, you know, we don't really have the people to go through it anymore, but it's not the fault of this administration. Those nutritional biscuits, let me be very, very clear, because I'm not talking about full force meals, 4-course, none of that. You get a very nutritional biscuit for those who are fleeing war-torn countries. You know, right now, them babies in Gaza need it, okay? And I don't think that they care that if it expired last month, if they get it or not. And these biscuits don't really go bad, guys. They really don't. I mean, they don't. They're very chock full of nutrition.
But shelf life.
A very long shelf life. So with that being said, I decided to take a negative headline and let's turn it into a positive. America still has a lot of people who are hungry. We are in the middle of summer. A lot of children are not eating at all anymore because the only meal that they get is at school. So why, if you have overflowing pantry right now, or you just have a little bit of extra money, would you please consider to donating to one of the 5, if not all 5, if you've got it, to some of these places that I have researched. The first one is Feeding America, and you can donate on their website. And they also have drop-off sites that you can go to, and you could just go to www.feedingamerica.org. That's number 1. Number 2, No Kid Hungry. That's www.nokidhungry.org, just like the name. Meals on Wheels, which is extremely close to me, because I have family members who just are not making it. I mean, literally living on $300 and $400 a month. And now their Meals on Wheels are being taken away from them. So please consider donating and volunteering for them. That's www.mealsonwheelsamerica.org. The FarmLink project is very interesting because it deals with a lot of non-GMO type of foods. So if you're really into feeding people and you're on the healthy side, and sometimes you're like, well, what are they giving them? These are actually farms that help participate in these food programs. And that's called the www.farmlinkproject.org. And finally, the World Central Kitchen, which is an excellent one. And not only deals with America, but it also deals with the world. People in this day and age with so much gluttony, so much obesity, so much waste in our countries should not be starving. So I am asking personally, I'm not asking you to do something that I haven't done already. Please consider donating and volunteering to take care of your communities. Because as we always say here, you have to start in your community. You know, the world is big, but there's a child probably right around the corner from you that you don't know about that is starving right now. So please take into account those. I am actually going to post that on our Discord. I'm also going to post it on our Substack, our girlfriends chat, so that you can go there and find more information on these programs.
Anything you want to add, Aisha?
Yeah. So tomorrow it'll be out on my Medium. But I wrote a piece that is really my love letter from my Black sisters. And it's called For Colored Girls Who Consider Giving Up When Resistance Isn't Enough. And from it, there's one thing that I really want people to get out of it is that you don't have to be, it's okay to feel your rage and let that be something that inspires you. You make joy a weapon. Get paid for your work. Be around people who don't drain you. And also, too, know that you don't have to be a martyr for the cause. There's this part that I wrote that I was looking for. It says, you are allowed to demand joy, rest, payment, peace, and visibility while fighting. You don't have to martyr yourself for justice. Ask to be paid for your labor, your stories, your knowledge. Exposure doesn't pay rent. Take a damn nap if you need the nap. You're not less committed because your body said no. Find Black-centered, trauma-informed spaces, not to heal so you can return to the grind, but to heal so you can fight with clarity.
Wow. On that note, I'm going to bring some more comments. Sandor says 47 isn't going to make it. He says this Epstein stuff is going to take him down. He also says peaceful protests. Giselle says 60% of Project 2025 after decades of not being to get ish done in Congress. SMDH. Lala says it makes me sick to my stomach. Sandor and Walamala says yes. Sandor, think you typoed Madhouse. Okay, we're done. Ladies, wow. Wow. Last few weeks. Wow. What's been going on? Last 3 or 4 weeks have been.
It's every day, every hour of every day. I'm so sick of it.
All right. Right. So, as always, we want to thank the ladies for giving and sharing their most valuable thing, their time with us. Before they leave, they'll give their contact information. First off, LaLa.
I made it very simple. All you have to do.
No, you didn't. You told me to change a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, you still can find all of this as well on www.laurakey.net.
It made me
However,
do all that stuff.
What do you say?
You made me do all that stuff.
No, that's where I want you to post my stuff. Okay. We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
Listen, you see all of that there, y'all, right there. I am on very many social media platforms. But I do have some free resources as well on my website that I'd love to share with you. If you're thinking about moving out of the country, I have a beautiful quiz there that can help you decide if that's something for you, or if you need to do a little more planning, or if it's even something that you can do right now. So there's a free quiz there. I also have some, because right now you really need to be protecting your financial credit and your house. And I have some free credit repair things there as well. I really want you to be healthy, not only with body, mind, and spirit, but also financially. So please make sure that you go check out all of my social media, but you also can find a majority of these things at www.laurakey.net.
So next week, what do I put? All of this or laurakey.net? Which one do I put?
laurakey.net.
Okay. All right. I was so, oh my gosh, I got to make sure everything's right. She's going to be mad at me and all this stuff.
No.
Let me ask.
You'll never be mad at you, Dr. Vibe. No way.
Okay. I have a, do you, you know what I just thought too, maybe a good idea is giving you either the link or the raw video of when you and Ray were on the Morning Vibe.
Yes. Yes. I think everybody needs to hear that.
Yeah. Okay. We will get that up. All right. Aisha K, I didn't change any of your stuff.
No, I'm at Instagram at AK Staggers Medium at Aisha K Staggers Medium.com. Blue Sky, akstaggers.bsky.social. Friendo Media, you can find my pieces there, and Substack at Aisha K Staggers.
Wonderful and great to have you back. Thank you. All right. Finally, my stuff. It changes sometimes, not as much as LaLa's, but we'll see what I put up next week for LaLa. All right. Website, the drvibeshow.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show. X/Twitter, drvibeshow. Email, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. You can also catch me on Substack, which I'm broadcasting live on and putting up replays. And also at drvibe.substack.com/subscribe. And on Blue Sky at drvibe.bsky.social and TikTok at the dr period. I was going to say run all through. It's the dr period VIBESHOW. And that's it. We have any more comments? Oh, okay. Dr. Tachi says, great conversation. Thank you. You made it great. Enlightened Beings says, great conversation. Thank you. All of you made it happen, whether it's live on the replay. Fantastic. Fantastic. I like to say. All right. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. And as always, make it better. Thank you to producer Matt, as always, for keeping the ship on course. As always, God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good. And we'll catch you soon. Peace.
To understand how afraid I am of any member of the rodent family, that's down to squirrels and chipmunks. Okay, I cannot stand all members of the rodent family. Rabbits, bunnies, no. What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know I'm going to ask you. It falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry?
So in other words, Monday.
So onesies.
Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't do that.
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and you'll see me and Lala because we oftentimes wear ours.